right. So, episode 13. We're going to run back, of course, the non fun week 13 for both Bears and Cowboys fans, unfortunately.
Oh man, it was rough. It was rough.
Very rough. And then, of course, we'll do our week 14 pick'ems and week 14 fantasy picks. So, before we get into it, you know what? I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm bringing out the Jack.
Oh,
If it's coming out.
that's the type of week it was. All right.
It is. Oh, you know what? I forgot. This guy's brand new.
Yeah, you
Courtesy of my boy right here. Courtesy of Mr. Jose.
Congratulations, sir.
It is for those that aren't aware, which might be a lot of people. It is wedding time for myself and Miss Amanda coming up on the 19th.
Wedding bells. I like it.
You can hear that. Boy, that sounded pretty
Nice.
right. So I'm gonna keep my Jack and Coke over here because it's gonna be a rough episode, and I think it'll help me get by.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you busted the Jack out already because we'll go ahead and start off with like the first part of the bad news is how did your team lose to me and I didn't even have a quarterback playing?
He's talking about our fantasy team. First of all, I already checked out of there because I'm already out of the playoffs.
No, I don't want to hear the excuses.
That team
125
was riddled with injuries.
125 to 119. And mind you, Fitzmagic was in my starting position. Like I fucked up. I woke up late and I just totally blanked out and didn't even bother to check this league because I thought I had Roethlisberger in his rightful place as QB1.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure, just right off the bat when I woke up, like, okay, I'm done for. But lo and behold, my team came through for me and just destroyed your team without a QB. Imagine if I would have
had. I have no running backs whatsoever.
Worse.
I have to rely on Kenyon Drake, of all people.
Hey, he said he was going to bring the fantasy teams to the motherland, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, not this guy. He should be responsible for reimbursing anybody that picked him in the draft. 20% of whatever they bought into. To be fair.
I'm good with that.
So you know what? Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and start off the run back for week 13. Let's dive right into the Cowboys and Ravens. The Cowboys 17 to the Baltimore Ravens 34. Looked like a promising game to start off with. Then it went to shit quick. The defense, there's not a lot of injuries on the defense, and most of the injuries they're in the secondary. But when you got guys like Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, who are just looking lost there. Vander Esch, especially on that like 30-plus yard touchdown run that Lamar Jackson had, just pretty much let him run scot-free, fell for the fake. I just don't know. These guys, Smith coming off a huge contract, I don't know anymore.
Lamar Jackson had a well-needed. Seems to be cutting off a little bit on my end. I'm not sure if it's on your end or mine.
No, I think you should be good.
Okay. I think Lamar Jackson had some well-needed rest because his legs look good, especially on that run that you were just talking about right now.
Well, I told you, and I was getting down last week about the team. I was like, but this is what I expected. I knew Lamar Jackson was going to run all over this defense. I mean, if running backs, whoever faces this defense, look like top-tier A1 steak sauce running backs, and then you get Lamar Jackson, who is one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the league right now, of course he's going to have a field day with this defense, and that's exactly what happened.
And then you get a little bit of help with the referees. I mean, there was some missed calls, some questionable missed calls towards the end. But I think we've been seeing that throughout the season in certain games, especially with teams like Baltimore and, favorable teams.
Then you got your kicker for the Cowboys missing 3 field goals. That's 9 points taken off of the board. I don't know. It's just it comes down to I don't know what's wrong with defense, if it is coaching, if it's just the players. But again, not a lot of injuries on the front five guys. It's more in the secondary. And the way a lot of these starters have been playing this year, just It has everybody regressed this year in the Cowboys defense as far as the linebacker core goes. Is it schemes from the defensive coordinator? Who knows at this point? They just look like a team that's already given up, to be honest.
I mean, the defense does look bad, but
Yeah.
when the offense isn't really producing much, you're really relying on the defense to kind of step it up. And I don't think, I mean, you're not healthy and you're just asking too much of the defense to save you at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Only good thing for it is my boy Michael Gallup showed up in the end zone, so I got that going on for me.
Who?
CeeDee Lamb
All
though,
of a sudden?
another touchdown that hits him square in the hands, just dropped.
Yeah.
Oh
Stonehenge.
my god,
That would have been
back weeks,
and that would have been one of the catches that I think Cowboys fans would be living on.
First off, the Hail Mary throw by Andy Dalton showing he still has some powder in the red rifle.
Oh, for sure. I was actually pretty surprised.
Yeah.
One, they gave him a lot of time to kind of wind up and launch it. And
Yeah.
two, he had some air under it and could have made the play. It wasn't for lack of his effort. It was just, it wasn't time.
I mean, Cowboys doing as much as they can offensive wise, being down to on your right tackle and your left tackle, you're pretty much down to your third and fourth string tackle at this point due to injuries. Along the whole rest of the O line, it's just nothing but backups. But again, it doesn't help out that your defense is letting everybody run over you, especially Gus Edwards, 101 yards, Lamar Jackson, 94 yards. Both, it's almost already 200 yards by two different backs right there. That's just how bad the run defense is in Dallas.
Yeah, there was like a stat that popped up, had like Baltimore at like almost 300 yards.
Yeah.
And like Dallas had like 80. Like it was completely lopsided. And Gus Edwards, I don't know if it was the defense that failed to stop him or Gus Edwards actually was showing some signs of life. And like
that's just the Cowboys defense. They've been making a lot of running backs that,
so
again,
you still trash is what you're saying.
The trash, exactly. It's
okay.
Again, it's just like you take a top tier, no, you take a low tier 4 or 5 running back, they're tier 1 running back against the Dallas Cowboys defense. So for whatever running backs you got, it's playoff time for fantasy football. Stream any running back, even if it's a backup running back in any game, any matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. That person's at least guaranteed 100 yards.
Yikes.
Minimum.
So you're saying it was a bad defense than Gus Edwards being a decent running back.
Oh yeah, for sure. Our defense, you had the secondary actually making run stop plays instead of your defensive tackles or your linebackers.
Yeah,
I don't know what with this team anymore, and I'm ready to hit the early relief button for the season and just kind of coast out. I need to go find another team to live vicariously through. So I don't know at this point, man. It's just a rough season, and I'm ready for 2021.
Same.
I need to get vaccinated from this Cowboys team.
Yeah, better things are in the horizon, man. That's what at least I tell myself every season.
Same here. But let's go on. Let's move away from that piss poor game. Let's go, since we're going backwards, might as well just keep going with it. The Bills 34 to the 49ers 24. Actually, one of the better games, and for the 49ers, for as banged up as a team as they are making these games competitive and fun to watch.
I mean, just the opening sequence where the Bills got stopped at the goal line. San Francisco goes all the way down. They get stopped at the goal line. But then there's that fumble where they score. I mean, it was pretty much a first and goal type situation. Yeah. But still, defensively, both teams stepped up. And it was, like you said, a very entertaining game.
Yeah, and I think that says more about the coaching staff in San Francisco. Pretty much, I mean, he's making do with what he has as far as the backups because of injuries that are in. And that's the deal with, like, why can't the Cowboys do this? Why are we not as competitive as these other teams? And again, it could be something as simple as coaching.
And attitude, probably. I mean, when you lose your QB, I mean, San Francisco lost their QB, but not in the way that
right
Cowboys did. But I don't know. In this situation, it seems more like the offense is going straight through Dak,
Yeah,
and with San Francisco, it's more of a scheme. Your coach,
exactly.
the one that's driving everything and putting people together. So he's a fantastic coach.
Yeah, I mean Shanahan's good coach. I mean, you see how creative he gets when they even utilize the freaking fullback of all positions to get open, get some touchdowns, make plays happen. It's again, it's just something that I wish I could see for my own team. I'm
And
envious of the
I
49ers.
think I don't think enough teams utilize the fullback.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are getting away from it because it's a passing league. Nobody wants to really use your running backs, or your running backs are going to be your pass catchers now.
Yeah, but
But
San Francisco really gave him a shot, and we're just seeing how much of a progression Josh Allen has from last season to
for
this
this
season.
season,
Uh,
32 of
he was
40.
good last season, but accurate, especially
Yeah.
on the move, it wasn't there. And now he's making some fantastic throws on the run.
You know what's crazy is this guy does not like to get rid of the football. He will extend the play to as much as he can, and he will try and make something happen. Like I love that about the guy, but there's gonna be that one game where it comes and bites him in the ass.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the he's still young
Yeah,
and still feels like he's able to make those plays, and most often than not, like he does make those plays. But man, the chemistry that he has with stupid Cole Beasley, god damn, like I wish I had that. I
Cole
wish I
Beasley,
had a Cole Beasley on my team.
Cole Beasley, man, 9 receptions, 130 yards, one touchdown, and then it also helps that you got one of your trade wins for sure, Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions, 92 yards on the other side of him.
And somehow, like he just always gets open.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's on him. This guy finds a way, makes catches.
I
Like
mean, they both are really good route runners, and Cole Beasley may even be a better route runner than Diggs.
I don't know.
He, he's a
Maybe,
kid can get
maybe.
open. He can get open. He's
Look,
good.
I'm gonna give Cole Beasley props, but I'm not gonna say he's a better route runner than Stephon Diggs.
I'm gonna say
That's
he is.
that's a reach. You're reaching, guy.
All right. Well, Josh Allen, 32 of 40, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has been playing lights out this season. Has had maybe only one or two games where he's been a little off.
Yeah, I want to say it was like mid-season where
Yeah.
he kind of fell off the groove, and it was probably around those games where they slid a little bit, and they had a couple of string of games where they lost. But he's really turning it on right now.
And still, the thing in question for them is their run game. Really not too bad of a game by Devin Singletary. I guess one of his better games, but we're calling one of his better games 61 yards with a 3.4 yard average, which
Yeah,
isn't saying much
fantastic
about
game
the
for him.
kid.
Yeah, it's a good game for him,
Yeah,
but when you
but when
put him
you
against
value,
some of the
yeah,
other guys,
when you put him in the big pool of what all the other running backs are doing, he's not doing anything at all.
yeah, uh, he did all right. He does show some signs of power, and it's like okay, we could build off of this, but and then he'll go and lose like 5 yards on carry. So
I think that's the deal. I think he doesn't have that breakaway speed because that's not the type of running back he is. And maybe that's what the Bills kind of need to get to, just find a better complementary running back. Kind of like how you guys have Montgomery and Cohen. Kind of find that little 1-2 punch.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Because I don't think Zach Moss is it. Zach Moss shows some signs, but he's still got a ways to go.
Yeah, the number one rusher on that team is still Josh Allen.
For the 49ers, though, who I got to give it to, who plays with everything, leaves it on the field, Debo Samuel. That kid is a beast.
Oh yeah, and he was non-existent for like the first 3 quarters, and then turned it on
Yeah.
in the last quarter.
Well, and then he had one big play that got erased because of a penalty.
Yeah,
But the way he plays, the way he runs, dude he's like a legit Adrian Peterson type running back, but at the receiver position.
yeah, he's one of those physical players that wants that contact and will drive through you.
His name makes sense, Debo. But I think I think 49er fans, they should be more excited. I mean, you're 5-7 with a banged up roster. You guys were just in the Super Bowl last year. Sky's the limit when the team's healthy,
I agree. I
especially
know,
especially with the coach.
and I'll go back on what I was saying earlier on in the season where I said, 49ers are done. They're not going to see the Super Bowl ever again, at least for a long time. But with the way the coaching has progressed this season without their top players,
Yeah.
I can only imagine how they will bounce back when everyone's back and healthy.
I mean, it's kind of like what we saw from Tomlin with the when Pittsburgh was all banged up last year. The quarterbacks, various wide receivers in and out. I think he may, be that next Tomlin who has that long tenure of making it to the playoffs. Hopefully, get some Super Bowl wins, but we'll see. Sky's the limit for the Niners team. But again, Buffalo Bills still look dangerous. Their defense is starting to find some rhythm as well, and cannot count Josh Allen out.
And for the first time in like I don't know how long, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're on their way to making the playoffs.
It is. I mean, their competition is the Miami Dolphins, who are somehow also finding ways to win some games.
They have
We'll get into them.
a tough stretch.
So let's go on to the Washington football team, 23, beating the undefeated Steelers, and their 17 points.
I did not see this happening at
Yeah,
all. But
didn't either.
it's falling. It's falling all together like I've been saying. This is the Cinderella story. The Washington football guys, Alex Smith being the comeback player of the year, like it fits. It like someone's gonna make a movie about this, about Alex Smith. I believe that.
He'll get a 30 for 30.
This is gonna be like The Blind Side, but for like Alex Smith.
He'll get a movie if he wins the Super Bowl. If he somehow, because I mean, imagine taking a 4-7 team all the way to the Super Bowl and winning. Imagine.
I think if they make the playoffs, it could cut off right there. There's a lot of movies, a lot of baseball movies where they just get to like the playoffs. So
yeah, like a Moneyball situation, like they get there and just like, we saw what could have been.
Yeah. So and then it's like I totally feel like this is perfect for at least a Hallmark movie.
Okay. No. I agree with you. But yeah, I was very surprised. I mean, defense, damn good defense. We've known that throughout this entire season. That their defense can show up. Offense still a little shaky. They still can't really establish things going with the run game. And that's kind of where it came in. I mean, you saw more of Peyton Barber than you did of Antonio Gibson, who had the hot hand the past 2 weeks.
Well, Gibson hurt himself or got hurt earlier on in the game, and I saw him like rewrapping his foot. I think it was more of like a toe injury, so that's probably what caused him to like be sidelined. But still, it kind of seemed like the Steelers came in like they felt like they were going to win the game.
Yeah, a little overconfident.
Yeah, there wasn't a sense of urgency, and this was like a wake-up call. You lost to the fucking Washington guys.
I mean, Dallas got swept by them, but whatever.
Hey.
It happens. It happens.
Y'all should have won that one, right?
Yeah, you would think offensive weapons with this receiver core that has been really good throughout the entire season that they could have easily ran up the score and kept Washington out of it and, outscored the Washington offense. But that just wasn't the case. I mean, there's nothing going on lately for the Steelers in the run game either.
Well, that's also, I don't know if that's a testament to the Washington team's defense that kind of stepped it up, but you have McFarland being your leading rusher when you have Connor and Snell. Like, this is like the third string back. Yeah. And he's your leading rusher with like 15 yards.
So are Steelers frauds because they have had a soft schedule?
I'm not going to say that. Their schedule has been soft. They have won.
I'm not saying it either, but can me and you agree that their schedule has been particularly soft?
Yeah, it has.
Okay. But the only thing that surprised, again, that coming back to like the main thing for me was that they have this explosive offense that should have easily been able to drop 30 points and outscore this Washington team. That's the only thing that really surprised me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just off of the receivers. You have most of your receivers there. I mean, you still have Ebron dropping passes, which isn't anything new.
Well, there was a lot of drops in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think it was just maybe some of those teams kind of need that little punch in the mouth from time to time when they get a little overconfident. Maybe this is just what that game was. It was a trap game. It happens.
It happens. You get a little too relaxed,
I
and you
yeah.
drop the game.
I still can't count them out just because of how explosive that offense can be. So I think it was just just the perfect storm, the right things in the right place for a Washington win in that week.
Well, this wasn't a very. It wasn't a good time to drop a game,
Yeah.
especially when they're like Pittsburgh plays Buffalo this week. So that right there is going to be a real test
Mm-hmm.
to the aptitude of that team right now because Buffalo's playing really good right now, and it's really going to be up to the Steelers defense to see if they're able to contain them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big task with as well as the Buffalo receivers have been playing. So from there, let's move on. Let's go to the Broncos 16 to the Chiefs 22. I think we were all surprised on how close of a game this was.
Yeah, it was close. There was a touchdown that was deemed not a touchdown, and not a really. I mean, you would think that there's people that are getting paid to watch replays to tell the coach, "Hey, throw the flag." Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, that or they're just like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, we're gonna score points on them anyways.
You know,
Like,
the
I don't know what it was.
that's one thing the AAF did at least was they reviewed plays like this and would overrule the referees or call them out whenever they missed a play. And maybe that needs to be implemented. Why not? I mean, you have homeboy that you go to every time in New York and be like, hey, well, what do you think of this call? Then
Yeah,
he gives the exact
kind of
opposite
weird.
of what happened.
It's
But
kind of weird that there's an official always watching, but they're
yeah,
just gonna be quiet and be like, well, they didn't
he's
throw
just
the
there for
challenge
he's
ball.
just there to guide conversation on air. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
So
why else bring him in? Like, if he's even saying it, all right, let's just get it overruled. Be like, hey, homeboy says this is what's going on, so this is what's going on.
yeah, I really thought that this was just gonna be a tune-up game for them.
Yeah.
Denver did show some signs of life, and then it's Drew Lock. So they need a lot of work in Denver. Um, Jerry Judy was non-existent
I
in
mean,
this game.
not a bad game though. Melvin Gordon, 15 carries, 131 yards, 8.7 average.
Yeah,
I mean, he
I,
can churn. He's been doing that this season. He can churn it when he can stay healthy. That's the only deal is can he be available for the entire season?
mm,
And as much as we kind of came into this saying like he's still in a little bit of Philip Lindsay's shine. I mean, with the opportunities Lindsay has been given this year, they haven't been much. But when he has been given them, he hasn't produced much though.
he's also been banged up.
Yeah,
So it's the whole season for the Broncos have it's been frustrating, especially with some of the talent that they have.
yeah.
There was a lot of high expectation, but there's been some bright spots with like Patrick. So
Your boy Tim Patrick, who we recommended everybody to pick up, 2 touchdowns this game off of 4 receptions for 44 yards.
hopefully you picked him up. Maybe he helped you get into the playoffs. I don't know, but we'll drop these little gems. We'll drop the gems here and there.
But we're good for something here and there sometimes.
Well, it's not for picks. My picks this week were terrible.
So, what did you think about? It was Travis Kelsey who afterwards did a shout out to the Raiders for beating the Jets. Kind of like
Man,
kind of
the
like
Jets
hitting
threw
them
that
low.
game. The Jets threw that game.
And we'll get to that one here in a second too.
Yeah.
But I think that was a bit of a villainous move by Kelsey. I like to see it though.
Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it when teams talk shit to each other.
Yeah, it's
And
healthy. They need to bring it all
yeah,
back. I'm like, what pissed me off. Now we're going back, but in the Cowboys game, you see Jalen Smith. You guys are down by 14 points. He follows Lamar Jackson out of bounds. He's just smiling, laughing. I was like, no, we don't. We don't want that when you're down by 14 points right now. Like I
no,
want you give him a shove, get the penalty. I'm
We're
not
not
saying
friends
break.
right
Yeah,
now.
we're not. It's not
Like,
friend time right now.
yeah, I'll dap you up later
Yeah, you can
after
wait
the
till
game.
after the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, come
when
on,
there's no
guys.
cameras.
Come on, guys. We need the
Yeah,
competitiveness back.
I want to see people get thrown out of the games.
Yeah,
Where's your heart?
thrown out of games. We'll get to that too. Dolphins, plenty of players thrown out of that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, lackluster game by the Kansas City Chiefs for an 11-1 team coming in and keeping it this close with the 4-8 team that's been pretty banged up. I was surprised with how close this game was overall.
Yeah, it just seems like if they're not really, I don't know, it's like they're not unmotivated.
Yeah.
They just feel like, yeah, we're gonna win. It doesn't matter, and you kind of get that sense like there's a lack of effort sometimes. And don't even get me started on Clyde Edwards. Like,
No, oh, you know what? Don't even get me started on Andy Reid, Adam Schefter. Everybody's saying, oh, Clyde Edwards is active, but he has a flu, so he's going to sit on the sidelines. Then don't announce that he's active. If you already know Andy Reid, he almost cost me my fantasy game in my other league. Thank God Stephon Diggs got 19 points for me and covered up the big zero that Clyde Edwards had. Could have lost to my little baby brother.
yeah.
Come on. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. So for that one, Andy Reid, you suck. You suck big ass for that
you
one.
don't do that.
Yeah, come on.
That's
He
fucked
obviously. All right, so just so everybody knows, Andy Reid does not care or give a damn about fantasy football. Okay.
He does not.
So let's move on. Let's go to the Eagles. 16 to the Packers, 30 bomb. It's finally here. What Eagles fans may have been clamoring for since maybe I would say the past 4 weeks. It's about to be Jalen Hurts' season.
Question. If they would have made the switch earlier, I think you already saw the difference once he entered the game.
Yeah.
It seemed like everyone else was excited. They were making an effort to play.
Yeah.
And it was kind of exciting to see Hurst be an actual QB and not in there for like a play or two.
Yeah, I feel like, again, I think they should have made it maybe 3 weeks ago when the season was already kind of in turmoil. And what else did you have to lose at that point? Like, Carson Wentz is already, he was probably sitting around maybe like, 11 interceptions, 11 touchdowns. So, Jameis Winston type stats. What else you got to lose? You got a younger quarterback that you drafted. A lot of these other guys are getting thrown into the fire regardless this season. So might as well, especially with being down in a division as bad as the NFC East. I mean, he should have been there sooner. Carson Wentz to me looks unmotivated lately. He doesn't look like the same type of guy that you saw in 2016, which looked like he could just had that kind of aura about him that would carry on a team. Like, he just looks super demotivated. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, he got the bag. And that's the other concerning thing about this team now is we're starting a rookie that they just drafted.
Yeah.
And now you have Carson Wentz going to be sitting on the bench collecting fat ass checks. And he's going to be collecting fat ass guaranteed money for like the next like two years. So like, what do you do with him if this is what you're doing right now is already going to the younger quarterback? And we've seen that when they go to this younger quarterback, that switch doesn't go back.
Yeah. So, I mean, his receiver core, he doesn't really have any big name receivers out there besides the one that they drafted, which would be Rhaegar. That's technically a big name receiver. They also had, because totally forgot about this. They had Godwin from the 49ers, but he opted out because he was having his baby. They had issues with other miscarriages, so he wanted to stay there and make sure nothing happened. It's fine, of course. But I mean, that's talent that they get back next year. Maybe they find some more talent in this coming draft. Count this as a off year for Carson Wentz. Hopefully, let him start next year again. I don't think they're going to even make it a competition. Maybe they will in regards to when OTAs and everything for next year start. But I think it's just a shit year for him. I mean, they have a banged up O-line too, but it's not like he's in the Cowboys situation where he has 3 good wide receiver core to throw to.
Yeah.
And then his best wide receivers was his tight ends, and they're banged up for half of the year. So I don't know. On this, I think it's just an off year for him. I wouldn't say cut cords for him, start trading him. Let him see if he can bounce back next year, and then if he can, then more power to you. And then if he can't, then yeah, maybe it's time to shop him around.
But who's gonna pick up that big?
The Lions.
Uh,
Imagine Carson Wentz is a Lion. I don't know why, but that's the first thing that came into
you
my head
think
when you
so?
said that.
Matthew Stafford's not bad, man.
Matthew Stafford's getting there in age. Like he hasn't. There's nothing else there for him, to be honest. And that guy's been getting banged up season to season.
Yeah, I
That's
see
the
that.
only thing about Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Well, that's enough about the Eagles.
Yeah, okay. We talked good about him. There you go, Eagles. We didn't bash on Carson Wentz and say he's shit, even though he is shit in the stat column. But hey, there's a lot of upside, and I'm even saying that it's just an off year for the guy. He'll bounce back next year. So
Maybe.
Green Bay. And I know
Yeah.
Jose doesn't even want to talk any type of good about fucking Green Bay anyways.
I don't. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, man.
Look,
Yeah.
we can talk about. We don't even have to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We know he's a good quarterback, but we can go back to what we've been saying throughout the podcast. Devontae freaking Adams, consistent, Mr. Consistency,
Mr. 2 touchdowns a game. Fuck it. Like,
MVP. Why is he not in the MVP race again?
no.
Hey,
They're not going to do it.
come on, man! Like this
That's
guy.
a lack of disrespect to that man.
Come on, I mean, Tyreek Hill puts up one game where he has almost 300 yards, but he's been solid through most of the season. But Mr. Consistency, Devontae Adams, we can't even just get a little bit of murmurs for the MVP race.
None. And the funny thing is, like, Patrick Mahomes does the littlest thing.
Mm.
He might be like falling away and throws a sidearm, and
He threw a sidearm. You can't throw like that.
ESPN blows their fucking load for like 2 hours.
He's the ESPN's equivalent of LeBron James for them at this point.
Okay, I'll go with that. You have Aaron Rodgers, and again, I don't feel good saying this. It makes me sick. But some of the fucking passes that this man makes,
Chef's kiss. Work of art.
I wish for once that I can have something that nice on my team.
Well, there was one of those bombs that he threw to Adams where there's nowhere else to throw the ball that you could possibly throw the ball. Perfect right there. And then Adams, being the freak of nature that he is, just adjusts to it, catches it right in the breadbasket. The combination of these two guys, I just don't know what to say. I love watching it.
It's time spent together to where they understand each other.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and I hate it. And I hate both of them. Good job, Green Bay. Y'all have a pretty, let's see, who do they play next? They play Detroit. There you go. There you go.
Tune-up game.
Yeah.
No big deal. And then it also helps that your running back gets 15 carries for 130 yards and 1 touchdown. 6.7 yard average. No big deal.
Hey, Aaron Jones.
He's churning. I got him. He's churning. This is what I need. Primetime playoff run Aaron Jones. I'm liking it.
Yeah. Good job.
All right, so it's enough about those two teams. Let's move on. Let's go to the Patriots. 45 to the Chargers. Worst beatdown in history, correct?
I don't even know what happened. And to be honest, Herbert's performance cost me a playoff spot in one league. I have him in 2 leagues, and despite his 6-point performance, I still got the dub. I'm in second place. I'm getting the playoff bye. He's gonna have he has a week to rest for my team.
Yeah.
No, but I really don't understand. This score looks like Cam Newton went off, and he didn't.
No. What happened is this score represents how the Chargers have played every game. Because in every other game, they found a way to somehow mess up and do horrible play calling. But now They actually just found a game to where they could just be completely and utterly shit, and they thought they could still get away with it and put up some fancy points. But this is a Chargers we see. I don't know if this says more about the coaching staff for surely this game specifically than it does for the rest of the entire games of the season.
Look at this stupid stat for Cam Newton. 19 attempts, 12 catches for 69 yards. Like,
one touchdown. That's it. You would think like if you were not to look at the box score and you just saw 45-0, you would think either Cam Newton rushed for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns, or Cam Newton threw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. And neither of that is on the stat sheet.
None. It's unbelievable. I just couldn't watch the game. Just the way it was going, seeing Herbert just completely shut down. It was sick.
Well,
I was sick to my stomach.
The Twitterverse theory is it's because he gave himself that 12-year-old haircut again. And then it hasn't just been the same since his haircut.
Maybe.
Threw off his feng shui or
His
whatever was
mojo?
going on. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Lost my mojo.
I don't know, man. He needs to get his shit together. Is what I'm.
Yeah.
You hear that, Justin?
Yeah. Very, very bad game by Herbert. And, hopefully for the sake of, again, fantasy playoffs, it's that time again. A lot of people have been riding the Herbert train, and they're needing that bounce back. And hopefully the kid bounces back.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't expect them to win games. I just want them to be competitive. I want something to happen.
We just want good football. That's it.
Yeah, you can't put up a donut.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
Especially with the Patriots. Like, this is not the Tom Brady Patriots. This is the weird off-brand, whatever Frosted Flakes off-brand is called, Patriots. By Cam Newton. It's not the same. But enough talk about that. There's not really anything else to highlight. It's just an ass whooping of ass whooping. So let's move on. Rams 38 to the Cardinals 28. Again, Rams. What kind of team are they? Who are the Rams? Again, light switch with these guys. They're either on, they're either off. I would just consider them the wild card team at this point.
Yeah, you really don't know what to expect when they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great coach. You have stupid Jared Goff, who, depending on his mood, will perform. They have offensive weapons.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that.
For sure. I mean, Woods and Cup.
It's hot and cold. And here, I really thought that Arizona was going to come up with the W.
Yeah. No, I thought it was going to be a dub by Arizona as well. Again, speaking of offensive weapons, I mean, they still got running back Cam Akers, who's been doing good for them this year, in place of Todd Gurley. 21 carries, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. Still being a menace in the run game. Jared Goff, again, he just got to throw the ball around, be a game manager, and his coach, his team is going to figure out ways to get the dub.
Well, this was a game where he didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
The defense stepped up. They had a takeaway, and they won. Like, against a pretty good team.
I think Arizona's problem is the running back.
Yeah,
I think what's keeping them a main contender is Kenyon Drake had that good year last year, and they expected the same type of profit from it. Hopefully they find somebody in the draft. I mean, that's what's good about this upcoming draft, and running backs in particular. There's a lot of guys you can just plug in, and they can give you a good little run for first couple of years. But yeah, definitely Kenyon Drake. I don't see him being the main running back next year.
I don't either. But do you feel like it's solely on the running back, or the fact that the quarterback likes to keep the ball?
You could say a little bit of both, but I mean that's kind of Kyler Murray's deal. Is that what makes him dangerous? Is that he has that ability in the ground? But I think what takes pressure off of him though is having some other guy doing the footwork for you.
Yeah,
literal footwork. And
I just feel like he will rather keep the ball than hand the ball off. Okay. Just what I'm seeing from
Well, to be honest, if I had the ball and I see Kenyon Drake as my person to hand it off to, I'd rather keep it as well. But no,
Okay,
I think you get them another running back
good point.
that's a little bit more versatile, maybe a little bit more of a speedster, and I think it takes I think it takes less decisions off of Kyler Murray.
Kenyon Drake, you owe us fantasy owners at least 20% of our
Yeah,
buy.
either that or at least, and I'll be happy with an apology tweet saying, you know what, I was wrong. That was too much of my big headedness saying that I was going to carry a lot of these teams to championships. Because you can't just come and make that statement and then do this.
You want to put a bet that he does?
Yeah, we can put a bet that he does.
We'll put $5 on it.
We'll just do a small bet. Yeah, we'll do
small
$5.
bet. I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either. Wait, am I betting that he will? And you're betting either way?
I'm trying to figure out which way you're going.
I'll let you decide.
I'll take the he will.
Okay, then I'll take the he won't.
All right.
It'd be funny if he does. Like, I'll laugh.
I mean,
I'll gladly frame that tweet and put it in the room.
At least, like, it would be a good sport, you know?
Yeah, just like get some laughs along. Be like, you know what?
I'll accept that.
I'll accept it. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to the Giants. Another upset, 17 to the Seahawks 12. Again, this is one of the other teams of the NFC East that I did say I like the Giants more than I like the Washington football team. Even though Colt McCoy is at the helm, I think coaching staff-wise and defense and offensive-wise, they got a little bit of a better chance.
Yeah, I mean, your ex-coach is doing wonders.
You know, he's making things happen, and you know who's in place of the running back? Who's been like, what? It's 7 games that this guy's either had a touchdown or 100-yard plus game. Wayne Gallman.
Guy's a stud, man.
16 carries, 135 yards, 8.4 yard average.
That's
Saquon
quality
who?
numbers. That's
Saquon who?
quality numbers. And that's good for him because Saquon is coming back. I don't know what Gallman's contract looks like, but if he's a free agent anytime soon, man, I just imagine what some teams are going to be willing to give this man.
Well, he may be actually coming up because I believe Gallman was drafted in either 2016 or 2017. So he should be at the end of his contract year. So he's at least putting good film for somebody to pay him some money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm killing it with the fucking Giants. Imagine what I can do for you. That's the way I would start my
Arizona. Imagine. We called it here first, ladies and gents.
Yeah. Wayne Gillman, the AZ offseason. You heard it now.
And I mean, again, if the run game is that good, all you have to ask for Colt McCoy in the meantime is to be a game manager. That's it.
I mean, he did turn the ball over once.
Yeah.
So this is expected. He's not a legit starter. So he's doing.
He's not the same guy that you saw with the Longhorns, for sure.
Yeah. He doesn't have that same swag.
That in 2020. That was eons ago already. Eons ago. Not the same kid.
Yeah.
But again, this says more about how bad the Seahawks defense is.
Oh man, this is detrimental to Russell Wilson's MVP run. This should have been like, let's mount some highlights on the Giants, and I really did not expect or see this happening.
This should have been another game similar to the Pittsburgh game where they should have outscored the opponent, regardless of how bad the defense was. It should have been a team that can outscore. There's no injuries to his wide receiver core. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. It should have been better numbers than what they had. It should have been maybe a multiple 120 yard from both receivers and Russell Wilson throwing 350 for 4 touchdowns.
You think this is like a premature burnout?
I don't know. I think maybe
they peak soon.
I don't know if it is or not, or if it's just a testament, because I've liked this Giants defense this past 5 weeks. They've looked pretty good. They look fun to watch. They've been a fun team to watch. I'll admit, as a Cowboys fan, that they look very fun to watch. And I think it's just a weak secondary that is not, helping this Seahawks team by any means. And Russell Wilson, maybe he is getting a little bit burnt out. Maybe he's been doing a little too much Russ cooking.
Yeah, he's been in the kitchen too long.
Exactly.
He needs some help.
He does. He's got to get some help from somewhere.
He's got to get some help. It's not good for Seattle, and these are the games that they need to come out with a win, and they're dropping these games. That's not really good, especially in the division that they're in.
And a lot of people talk about, Jamal Adams this, Jamal Adams that. He hasn't done shit in coverage. The only thing he's been doing is getting sacks. But how many times are you going to blitz Jamal Adams?
Not too many.
Exactly. So
not too many.
It's good that you're getting sacks, Jamal Adams, but you also got to cover guys in your main position job as a safety. You got to get the coverage down. So I don't know. I think this loss says more about how much trouble the Seahawks team is as a team versus the Giants. I mean, the Giants, good win for them. They're in competition right now with the Washington football team in regards to making that playoff run. And to me, I think Cowboys and Eagles are already out of it. There's no way that I can see them catching up. And I think it's going to be a fun next couple of weeks to watch.
It is. It is not for our teams, but in football.
In football in general.
Total, yeah.
Again, if I can see one of these 5-7 teams somehow make it, I mean, I know that odds are astronomical. There's no way in hell that it should or could happen. But if it does, one of these teams make it to the Super Bowl, that would be a sight to see.
Hey, it would be the perfect ending to 2020.
All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Raiders 31 to the New York Jets 28. Jets fire defensive coordinator for doing the free-for-all blitz and landing over. I put a tweet saying, why did they fire him? He's doing his job. They were supposed to tank. What are you going to get mad at him for?
And this is, like, Adam Gase still has a job.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Yeah, and, okay. Last week I called it that this was a trap game. I felt something in my bones that they were going to perform. And this not only solidifies my theory that he was put into this place just to tank the team. Throw him, just dig him so far down into the fucking hole so they can get a different quarterback. Like, it's been set up from the beginning. Because they should have won this game and purposely just let that touchdown happen with 5 seconds left. Like, they made Derek Carr look like a fucking elite quarterback, and he's not.
Yeah, especially with how one side of the game was at one point. And then, but, fantasy owners, me especially, thank you, Darren Waller. 13 receptions, 200 yards, and not one, but 2 touchdowns. Peace.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Henry Ruggs, he got the touchdown on that trash blitz call that secured their first round pick, of course. So whatever. Henry Ruggs, 3 catches, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, I think he's kind of been underwhelming this season. Again, I think we said it last week. Ruggs and Renfro, we've been saying it. These guys have been drafted, and they were supposed to be the younger talent. Supposed to be the home run players as far as getting open, making things happen, and they've been underwhelming as far as what they produce. Renfro and Ruggs, both in the at the wide receiver core for this Raiders team.
I think you see the Raiders are weird, especially with their record that they have right now, because like you're saying, a lot of the players that we had high expectations haven't been performing to those expectations, but they're winning games. So I don't know what that is attributed to.
I don't know either. But I don't know. I think it's just a point of just these are the guys that you drafted. They looked good on paper, but so far they just haven't produced yet. It could be something as simple as that. I mean, the Jets, Sam Darnold, one of his better games, 14 of 23, 186, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Okay. Ty Johnson, whoever you are, 22 carries, 104 yards, 1 touchdown.
It's because Frank Gore got hurt,
Yeah.
concussed early.
Whatever there too, it's not going to happen again. Uh, we all don't know what to do with the Jets. I guess if you're maybe a Jamison Crowder holder in fantasy, you hope that he keeps producing this way. 2 touchdowns, at least finding the end zone. I mean, he didn't do anything in regards to yardage, only 47 yards off of 5 catches, but still found the end zone twice.
Yeah.
So maybe if it's a weaker secondary, Crowder's that guy to stream in the fantasy league, especially again playoff time. This is where you got to take chances, take the gambles, got to get those points.
This is where being the perfect GM comes in. Finding the gems, making the moves. It's important.
It's all about streaming. You already have enough stats there to compare how defenses are. You already know the injury history. So start looking in details as far as what the favorable matchups look like, why they're considered favorable, and then do the math, do the science on your own, and figure it out.
Or just, eeny, meeny.
Yeah. You're already in the playoffs at this point. You got nothing else to lose.
Just let it ride,
All right, so let's move on. We got the Colts 26 to the Texans 20. Takeaways from this one.
It wasn't a fantastic game to watch, to me. Watson. What were we saying?
More of the Jonathan Taylor show for the Colts.
Yeah.
Very good outing for him.
But Rivers finds T.Y. Hilton again.
Breaking news, T.Y. Hilton.
And this is where, the Colts are supposed to be, a dominant team. And they started off hot.
Yeah.
But they're winning. But I'm not convinced of these wins. They're not dominant. I feel like the Texans could have taken the game over. Just lack of depth in the offensive side. Watson could only do so much. Their defense, a little lackluster.
Yeah, and again, they got a defense that's a little bit banged up right now. One of their better safeties and cornerbacks are out. But it goes back to what we're saying. It's kind of the same thing with their wide receiver core, like the Raiders. You got these younger guys like Michael Pittman that really haven't had consistency on that end. Like they've had those 1, 2 to 3 games that they'll string along, and then they'll go dip down and hide in the stat column elsewhere in other games. But Jonathan Taylor, I mean, that's been kind of a little bit of more consistency from them. When they can get him churning, good things happen for this team.
And this is another game where Pittman just disappeared.
Yeah.
Where he was getting some rhythm with Rivers, and all of a sudden he's just disappeared. Almost like Fulgham from the Eagles. Just gone.
And then on the other side of the ball, you got the Texans, who is out of their better wide receiver, Will Fuller, because of PEDs. Kiki Coutier, who I've actually liked, not bad. I mean, very good game this game. 8 receptions, 141 yards. And then I have no idea who Chad Hansen is. But 5 receptions for 101 yards. No idea. But when your homeboy's taking PEDs, next man up mentality, Chad Hansen, congrats to you, my guy.
But this is also what we were saying earlier on in the season. It's give these practice guys a shot. You don't know what you have until you throw them into a game. And this guy right here is producing.
Yeah, and I mean, if he can do it again, then hats off to the guy. But otherwise, got the hiccups from that one. But if he can do it again, hats off to the kid. But Deshaun Watson just making do with what he can. If it wasn't for his team, coaches around him, he would be in the MVP race because he is doing a lot of things right. Maybe not so much this game, although he put up 341 yards in the air. What more do you want from the guy? Your run game can't really help you out too much. David Johnson has been a bust of a trade. We all saw how that went. But, I don't put any blame on Watson. I mean, he's doing what he can with what he has. And again, if it wasn't for his team, he'd probably be in the MVP race at this time.
Yeah.
If it was 8-4 instead of 4-8, then yeah.
Oh, yeah, I could totally see that. They, I would say they have a tough matchup next week, but
Mm.
my Bears have been trash. So, and a little gem is out of the 4 times that we've played against them, we haven't won once.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, there's that.
History may repeat itself. Find out next week. Let's move on. Jaguars 24 to the Minnesota Vikings 27. Mike freaking Glennon still throwing the rock for the Jags. And again, speaking of Mr. Consistency, and no, not Devontae Adams this time, James Robinson. Whoever, if you guys somehow managed to pick him, took the gamble on him, round of applause for everybody because that guy at the running back position has been solid.
Yeah.
This game, 18 carries, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. What more do you want from the guy? I mean, he even gets 6 receptions, 30 yards, which is not a lot. I mean, you only got 30 yards off of 6 catches, but PPR, that's 6 points plus another 3. 9 points right there.
This guy's a monster. And
Beast.
you said it week after week. He runs angry, and we like angry runs.
Undrafted rookie running back, putting up better numbers than
Who?
Zeke. Oh man, that guy.
No,
Yeah.
I mean the sad thing is Mike Glennon is putting up better numbers than some of the starting quarterbacks, and that's just
True.
horrendous. This is terrible. And I really thought that they were going to pull off the upset and beat Minnesota, but right now, I'm going to give it up to him. Kirk Cousins is balling out right now. Like he's getting it done.
And it helps when you have a rookie of the year candidate and Justin Jefferson also balling out. 9 receptions, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. With the injury to Cincinnati's Joe Burrow, I think, hey, Jefferson, why not rookie of the year? I mean, if these next couple of games, if we don't see the same output by the Chargers quarterback,
Herbert.
why not? Justin Herbert, why not?
Oh, I see that definitely. Like this guy, just throw him the rock. He's going to catch it.
He's been damn good. One of the better receivers out of this class. And again, this class of rookie wide receivers, for God knows whatever reason, have been amazing to watch this year. They've all been talented, but Justin Jefferson sticks out more than anybody else.
Yeah, he has the swag, and he has the ability to back up that swag. So he has my vote. This guy's bad.
And then, of course, it also helps for the Vikings when you got premier running back Dalvin Cook going 120 yards on the ground as well. And then, of course, Adam Thielen, week to week, finding the end zone. But he's been a little inconsistent here and there, and Justin Jefferson, thankfully, is there to take some of the load off of him, which is more similar to Stephon Diggs. Like, neither one of them really had, when they were together, had that game where they were both producing. It was either one or the other.
Yeah, and that's what we did see last year. Where it was like, who you had to like flip a coin to find out who was going to get the production. Exactly. And here it's evenly being spread out. So they have a dangerous team, especially because of Dalvin Cook. So, they had bad luck the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. They're starting to pick it up right now. I mean, they beat the fucking Packers. So that in itself is a win.
I mean, they're 6-6. There's chance for them to play upset at least. And who knows? I mean, they still lost to the Cowboys, but whatever.
Thanks for that.
So let's move on. Let's go to the Bengals 7 to the Dolphins 19.
Tua time. What did you think of his performance?
I mean, as much as I have the love for Fitzmagic, Tua adds another whole dimension to that. And you got Myles Gaskin helping him out in the run game as well, who's been one of the better running backs. It took a little bit of time for him to develop this season as far as trying to catch on with the rest of the Dolphins running backs, but Gaskins has been that premier running back for them. But Tua doesn't look bad. He
No, he
can
doesn't.
make things happen.
Yeah, you can see that he's growing week to
Yeah.
week. And it doesn't, I mean, it also helps that you have a tight end like Gasecki that is a big man that all you have to do is just throw him the ball. He's going to fucking catch it. Just
Yeah, that's who's been
put it up there.
getting some shine lately is Gasecki. He's been the consistent tight end, playing and getting stats as far as a true tight end number one goes.
Yeah.
I think it's been better chemistry though between him and Tua than it has been between him and Fitzmagic though.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Um, their defense has been
They're
really
scrappy.
productive.
They're very scrappy defense.
Yeah,
I
I like
like
it.
watching it, especially with. I mean,
The whole
a
team's
lot of the
actually.
moves that they made, they got rid of. It was Minka Fitzpatrick who they traded to the Steelers, which
Well, yeah, he said that he wanted to leave, but I mean, it
well,
was under Gase, so
yeah. So I don't blame them.
yeah,
But you would have thought though that that would have taken a bigger hit in the secondary. But they've got these younger guys who've been filling in nicely. And again, this is a young defense that flies around the football.
yeah, and I think it's just the whole attitude I like
Yeah,
is they feel like they're the dominant team and they play like it. So they're always trying to make plays on the ball, and I mean that's fun to watch.
yeah. I mean, they got to hope the Bills drop. Bills are ahead one game right now. They got to hope for something, stay competitive, and they can see themselves in the playoffs. I mean, Miami Dolphins, you would have told me we're making the playoffs this year, I would have said you were a crazy man. If
Yeah,
you
I
would have even
mean,
told me they were 8-4, I would have said you were a crazy man.
yeah, never. I would never have thought
No,
that.
I
But they
thought,
also have a tough stretch
yeah,
like towards the end of the season. Like, I mean, they have Kansas City this week, so that right there is a real test. And if Kansas City loses to Miami, that opens the door for Vegas. I feel like.
true. And then, if anything, I mean, the Dolphins' defense, I mean, against Kansas City, that is a true testament game to this defense.
Yeah.
I would be happy even if they got the L, but they held Kansas City to underneath 20 points. I would still say that would be a good game for
So
the
that's a win.
Dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's go to the Lions 34 to the Bears 30.
Hold on.
Oh man. I like that. I like that. I mean, I hate that you have to have it on, but I like that you brought it out for the podcast. The unbearable Bears.
Don't even. It's so frustrating. I was I was like up here the
Yeah.
whole fucking game. The run game came out. David Montgomery looked like a goddamn stud.
He was playing lights out fucking football, smash mouth football.
I mean, just the run game was there. Like Mitchell Trubisky was protecting the football the first half.
Yeah.
And then we're still cursed in the third quarter where we score 0 fucking points, like always. And then, like, to me, I really don't understand what the play calling is. It's like when we're supposed to kill the clock, we're passing. And then when we need to get the first down, we run the ball. Like, it's just so frustrating that we were up by 10 points and then we lose.
That's kind of been
We did.
the Bears' deal though this season. Has been the offensive play calling. Like going to the Rams, Sean McVay does a real good job of hiding the bad parts of Jared Goff. Like
Yeah.
he builds the plays around to where he knows he's not going to be a guy that can get rid of the ball or that needs to get rid of the ball too fast because if he has too much time, then he makes bad mistakes. And I think that's kind of the same deal with Trubisky, especially with how banged up the O line is. That they're not putting any type of plays that kind of benefit him as a quarterback that he is.
Well, and it's not even the plays that are not benefiting him because I thought the play calling was good. He was making throws that fumble that cost the turnover right in the end zone.
Yeah.
There was a crossing route, and I saw this on Twitter. They like slowed it down. There was 2 guys literally wide open crossing each other, and he's there just jumping, happy feet, like not even seen, like literally right in front of his face, and then
Bruh.
he turns to like go like whatever slot receiver was going like out. Like just get the fucking first down. Why are you holding the ball? And then fumble happens, they recover. It's a fucking wrap at that point.
So do you think Allen Robinson is going to be with the Bears next year?
I really don't think so at this point. And then his play where he like catches the ball right at the sticks, but there's defenders coming towards the edge of the field,
Yeah.
and you see the chain guy move like toward Allen Robinson. So he steps out early thinking that that's where the chain is.
Yeah.
And he steps out like a yard shy. And then we go ahead and instead of doing like a pass play, quarterback sneak, we hand the ball off way in the backfield and expect a first down. Like, and not only that, like the start of the second half, we just went away from David Montgomery, who was having a stellar fucking game, along with Cordell Patterson. Like, that guy right there does not, like, we don't deserve that man. He's special. He can do it all. He plays the special teams. He's a receiver. He's a running back, punt returner. Like, the guy's bad.
He is, and I think it's just, quarterback concerns, and like you said, I mean, that's kind of the deal with Trubisky is he's holds on to the ball too long, second guesses himself, and makes some very questionable throws. And I don't know if there's quarterbacks to find in the draft that they can get or trade up for. Take a chance. Do you take a chance and try and bring in a whole new quarterback in and go around him again for what is now like the third time?
Yeah.
Or do you try and stick with what you have in Trubisky and he has his upsides and try and develop that guy as a QB?
How much development do you need? Like,
that's the question. Yeah.
We're already at 4 years. I mean, we have Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowls.
Well, and what you have now, I mean, you had at one point which was considered the most paid backup quarterback in Nick Foles, which is now going to be Carson Wentz. But we all know that Nick Foles isn't the answer. He lost his job to Minshew in Jacksonville. He tried his luck with the Bears, wasn't doing too much, had a nice few string of games. But maybe it's time to, I mean, if they look elsewhere, who do they look elsewhere to? I guess the only good thing about this year is we've seen a lot of other backups get filmed. Maybe they take a gamble on some of these other backups, bring them in. I don't know. I don't know what you do as the Bears right now. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I don't know if I want another backup from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I think
my concern is it's still quarterbacks for the Bears.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but we need like a complete teardown from like the top up. Like just
at least on the offensive side, it's rebuild time.
Yeah, and it sucks that we're wasting away the defense, and then our defense,
like Roquan Smith.
Our defense has been MIA the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand what the fuck is going on. Apparently, every week, they're saying that we have amazing practices, but we're talking about practice.
Practice.
I don't care about a fantastic practice.
Yeah.
Win a fucking game.
Anybody can look good in practice.
Like, I wanted to like torch every single Bear memorabilia that I had because we lost to the goddamn Lions. They didn't even have a fucking head coach. It was embarrassing. I'm over it.
So, since it is still the Lions, we got to talk a little bit good about them. I mean, good stats. Adrian Peterson, my boy. 16 carries, 57 yards, found the end zone not once, but twice. So I'll take that.
Yeah. And who did I say was the guy, the stud for the Lions to watch out for this week?
Marvin Jones?
No. Hawkinson.
Oh, yeah, TJ Hawkinson.
Who had a touchdown. My Bears are always good for a tight end touchdown.
Wait, did Hawkinson have a touchdown? I don't think he had one.
Yeah, he did.
I know Marvin Jones had one. Maybe it was the other guy
I'm fact checking.
it was that Cephas guy.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a different tight end, but it was a tight end. Wait, is Cephas a tight
All
end?
right.
I don't know because he wears 87, 88. They probably got to be a tight end.
All right. Well, I fucked up. I mean, he's still 7 receptions for 84 yards.
Either way, yeah, he was still a problem, which the Bears
Yeah.
have been having issues with stopping tight ends.
Yeah, so you could already see I was already drinking a lot by the time that part of the game was happening.
Well,
and I was upset. And
yeah, to let a struggling Matthew Stafford throw for 402 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, that is saying a lot about the secondary, unfortunately.
Yeah, nah, I don't like it.
You know, and maybe it's just the defense just saying, "Hey, we've done as much as we can this season, and the offense needs to step up for once."
I will say this: I did notice a major change in attitude within the players without Matt Patricia.
Okay.
Like you could see Matthew Stafford kind of take a leadership role in kind of coaching people up on the sidelines, where he would regularly just be chilling on the bench, just waiting for his.
Does Patricia landing spots for Patricia next year? Does he land anywhere next year? If so, where?
I think he'll probably get like a defensive coordinator position. I don't think he's going to get a.
I'm cool with him getting a defensive coordinator position for the Cowboys, to be honest. Mike Nolan is absolute dick.
Oh, I could see that, actually.
I would be happy with that.
I could see that.
I don't know who else is needing some defense. I don't know. Yeah, spitballing here. Jets, maybe. I don't know. Pay him some more money.
Yeah.
I mean, Jets need tons of help, but whatever. We'll see. we can play the Patricia Wheel of Fortune when it gets closer to next season. Let's go on to the Browns. Surprising win here, especially by the point differential at one point in the game. 41 to the Titans, 35.
Hey,
Baker
you know how
Mayfield.
we were talking shit about Baker Mayfield, that they needed the run game?
Yeah. He said, not this game, my guys. Not this game. 334 yards and 4 total touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Looking like that reminiscent version of himself as a Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to mention that. Like, he had that swag. You know, when he was in college,
he's back.
He was always talking shit to everybody, and he had that persona of just cocky. And I liked it. I was like, yeah.
It comes out when you're winning.
Yeah. It does come out when you win. But he was making throws, and if you're making it happen, talk that shit.
And I mean, Nick Chubb was still out there. Didn't have to have one of those crazier performances as he has had to be relied on for, but 18 carries, 80 yards, over 4.4 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. But when your quarterback is doing what he was drafted and what everybody saw in him, what he should be, even without one of your other primary weapons in OBJ, I mean, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns. Can't complain.
Yeah. And you have Higgins stepping in for OBJ and putting up some numbers.
Yeah.
Gaining a touchdown.
95 yards, 1 touchdown for Higgins. Then you even got across from the other guy, Donovan, for the Peoples Jones. 2 receptions, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. And, of course, you want your primetime stars, Javarius Landry, to also find the end zone, which he did.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was getting a shot. Everyone was feeling good.
This is the Browns team that we all expected. Was it last year when they were hyped up? Or was
last year.
It was last year.
Yeah.
This is the Browns team, sitting 9-3, and it's crazy. It's like this is the epitome of 2020 at this point. The NFC East is in shambles, and the Browns have a combined record better than everybody else in the NFC East at 9-3. And then you even got their defense making Derrick Henry look somewhat of immortal, as only 60 yards and 4 touchdowns, 4.0 yard average.
Yeah, but you know who was looking like a fucking madman?
Corey Davis.
Corey fucking Davis.
But that's to do with Corey Davis, though. It's like
it
goes to consistency with that guy. Like he'll have that one nice game, be quiet for 2 games. Nice game, the dips and the downs for this guy. I just can't trust Corey Davis.
I think it's more on Tannehill than it is on the receivers, because it seems that week to week Tannehill will focus on a person. You don't really see him distribute the ball like other quarterbacks do,
Yeah.
like Ben Roethlisberger, who just goes off.
I mean, to be honest, between AJ Brown and Corey Davis, like, would you consider them to be tier one elite wide receivers? I mean, they show little flashes, but I think he still needs that other wide receiver for a little bit more consistency. I mean, at one point they have Adam Humphries as a third guy. That's not really saying much. He's just been floating around various teams. But again, it's just the consistency between not only AJ Brown. AJ Brown, I would say, is a little bit more consistent than Corey Davis, but he needs that other number two option that's maybe not so much Corey Davis.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put Corey Davis as like a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
He's a good flyer.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's inconsistent. And then you have Ryan Tannehill, who you don't know if it's going to be a run heavy game or he's going to have to air it out. And here, I mean, they put up 35 points, but still, like, they got shut down on the run game. And that's concerning for them playoff wise, because like people have film now, and we're starting to see that they're scheming to stop Derrick Henry, so they have Tannehill. Like,
you have to make Tannehill throw.
Yeah, let's see what he's going to do, and if we get burned by them, fine. That, like, we're okay, but we're taking away Derrick Henry.
The deal with Cleveland is if their offense can somehow find a way to stay consistent, and if their defense can play as good as they have been playing these recent weeks, it might be Super Bowl time. I mean, the cogs are there. Can they make them all mesh together to work? Can they get the machine going with all the different cogs? The only deal.
The first that I heard that the Browns could make it to the Super Bowl. Like, there's like the names, like the top tier names is the Chiefs.
Chiefs, Chiefs, Steelers, most of the AFC teams are the top tier there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Browns, maybe they can dethrone somebody.
If the stars align, But it's gonna be a steep climb for them. I mean, they haven't made it to the playoffs in how long?
I don't even know, man. It's got to be over like 30 years.
Older than you, for sure.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
You weren't even born.
But I mean, when you got teams like in the NFC, like you have the Saints, the Giants, the Packers, the Rams. I mean, realistically, let's say the Saints and Packers have the best shot as of right now, stat-wise, right? And then you look in the AFC, which is the most competitive division at this point. I mean, you got the Bills, you have the Titans, you have the Steelers, you have the Chiefs all sitting at the top of their division. Can the Browns some way string together? Can they take advantage? Maybe the Steelers find a little bit of decline. The only thing that's keeping the Browns out is how good of the Steelers' record is right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Steelers will drop a handful of games.
I mean, that's just me being hopeful as far as the Browns looking like they can potentially be a well-oiled machine to somehow make that Super Bowl run. Even without OBJ, they still got enough they still have enough players there to where you have arguably the best two running back tandems in your backfield who can carry you whenever your passing game is struggling. Yeah. And then you have a good defense, and then you have a beast on that defense in Myles Garrett. So why not? Why not the Browns?
Why not? I mean,
the only thing that's going to keep the Browns out of that type of run is Baker Mayfield. That's it.
Yeah. He needs to keep this swag.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so let's move on. Let's go to, I believe we are at the final game. Yes, Saints 21 to the Falcons 16. Hey, Taysom Hill, he's throwing the ball now.
Hey, he threw a touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Look, the person that needs to be praised right now is none of the players. It's the fucking coach. He has figured out how to win with whoever.
It's just Sean
in
Payton,
my
man.
eyes.
Sean Payton's a
Like
damn good coach.
Sean Payne does not give a fuck about your fantasy team either.
True.
We'll just leave that there. All the Michael Thomas's owners and Alvin Kamara owners. I mean, Alvin Kamara is still.
Well, Thomas and Kamara, they had some bounce back games this game after the low pointage games last
Yeah.
week. So I think everybody was kind of happy, and it was a game where Taysom Hill had to actually air it out, and we got to see a little bit more of his arm. So I think he kind of like hushed a little bit of the criticism so far, but everybody still wants to see the rest of the tape for the rest of the season.
Right. And then, you have Atlanta being Atlanta and just.
You have just Matty Ice just doing Matty Ice things where he still has all. Yeah, you're missing Todd Gurley's not 100%. You have Ito Smith, who wasn't doing too bad as his backup coming in. But again, Matt Ryan, like, you still have all your tools at your disposal. You're only putting up the 273 alongside one touchdown.
Look,
it's just, I don't know.
He has Calvin Ridley and Julio fucking Jones.
Arguably one of the better wide receiver cores in the NFL at this point.
They should, we came into the season thinking that they're going to be lighting people up, especially with the way Ridley performed last season. So they already fired the coach. We kind of saw like a spurt of energy from them. But now we're starting to see is, your team fucking sucks. And I don't know how much longer we're going to see Matty Ice in an Atlanta uniform.
Well, there's issues with the defense and quarterback play, obviously. And I don't know, maybe Matty Ice becomes one of those vets that it's time for him to bounce to a different team. Maybe he can bring another team some wins, string along some fun plays. But, maybe it is time to start steering away from Matty Ice. You're already at the plateau of probably Calvin Ridley's career. I mean, not Calvin Ridley, sorry, Julio Jones' career.
Oh, yeah.
And you still, though, speaking of Calvin Ridley, you still have him, diamond in the rough, who is looking very good. So I don't know. Do you bring somebody on? Do you to try and string better chemistry between them? I mean, the deal is like you see Matt Ryan constantly force balls to Julio Jones, and he just doesn't have like that. He doesn't have like what Aaron Rodgers has.
No, and mentality. He should, because they've been together for so fucking long.
Yeah.
And I think this is more of a Matty Ice issue than it is a Julio Jones issue.
No, yeah. No, I
because
agree
if
with
you
you.
Put Julio Jones on the fucking Packers, it's fucking game over.
Dominated.
Yeah. So it's more of Matty Ice is showing rust. He's showing just age. He's showing that he's not, to me, he's not part of the new NFL anymore.
Yeah.
He's not one of the elite quarterbacks. He's some of the younger cats are producing more than him. And
maybe it's just, changing of times. It's going to these mobile quarterbacks that can do both, that are good on their feet, and that also have a cannon. It's these Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson type guys that maybe not so much Lamar Jackson because he hasn't been throwing much, but Yeah.
But I kind of hold like Matty Ice with like Tom Brady. Like he's part of that era, like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, kind of like that.
They're those guys that are being
quarterback
slowly phased out.
Yeah.
Like these are the last hurrahs that we've seen of them. It's time to.
The thing is, with Peyton, he won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady wins Super Bowls. Ben Roethlisberger is probably one of the other older fucking quarterbacks that is still slinging it now more than ever. Mm-hmm. But he's like half man, half fucking metal at this point.
Again, it's where, truly, it's where we're seeing these quarterbacks kind of phase out. The teams are taking them back to the pasture, giving them one last treat, and taking them out.
This is
it's time to start moving on, and Falcons need to start finding somebody else to fill that quarterback role.
Oh, I agree. And it all started once they fired their coach early on. To me, that's a signal that Matty Ice is done.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. As far as the Falcons fan is, the defense needs some retooling around for sure. But I think you got a little bit more excitement as far as how good the offense can potentially be, and if you can get another quarterback that's a little bit younger and build around him as well, add somebody else to complement Calvin Ridley. Russell Gage doesn't look bad though.
No, he
He's,
doesn't.
he's not a bad wide receiver, but I don't think he can be that consistent number two guy. I think he's a good number three guy, which whenever you need to spread out the field and have him there while the other two are distracting, and yeah, he's that guy to go to. But if I was a Falcons fan, I would still be happy with what I see, knowing that there's still a lot of upside.
Yeah. Good luck, Atlanta.
Good luck, Atlanta. All right, so that wraps up the Week 13 run back. Let's go ahead, Jose, and move on to Week 14. Let's get these pickems knocked out, my guy. Who are we starting off with first?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm going to go New England.
Okay, so
on the Thursday night game.
Thursday night football, New England at the Rams. I'm going to go opposite of you. I'm going to take the Rams.
Safe. I understand.
Sunday's games, Cowboys have now been flexed because they suck to the 12 o'clock game. But let's start off with the Houston at Chicago.
I like pain, so I'm going with Chicago.
I'm going to support you. I'm going to go Chicago here too.
All right.
And then next you got Dallas at Cincinnati. If it was Joe Burrow, I would say I'd be a little bit worried. Maybe this is a time where Dallas Cowboys get some type of meaningless win because everybody else is one game ahead of them at this point. I'm going to take my Cowboys here.
All right. I have to go with the Cowboys as well.
All right. Then you got Green Bay at Detroit. I think it's safe to say. Or are you going to be the renegade and go Detroit?
You don't know. I'm going to go with Detroit.
He's going to go with the new swagger that Detroit has found due to no more Matt Patricia. But I'm going to lock in Green Bay. Then you got Kansas City at Miami. I think this is maybe potentially one of the better games to watch, actually.
Yeah.
Can Miami's defense show up against this explosive Kansas City offense?
I say yes.
Say yes?
I say yes.
I think it's just going to come down to who will be the better quarterback this game. So I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with Mahomes.
And I'm calling that Miami gets a pick.
Okay. Just a pick or a pick six?
No, they'll get a pick.
Okay. Fair. And then you got Arizona at the Giants. You know what? I'm gonna ride the wave. I'm gonna go with the Giants for the upset win. I think it would be.
I don't know if Arizona's gonna drop to the Giants, but the Giants defense has been. It's been good, but I'm gonna go with Arizona.
All right, and then you got Minnesota at Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go with Minnesota here.
I'm going Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. It hasn't been Tampa Bay since like week 3.
Well, it's time. This is
right.
Tom Brady time. We're in December. Tom Brady time.
Cold weather. Tom Brady. He should shine.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Cold weather. It's gonna be.
It's the weather that's throwing him off. It's that Florida weather. It's that Florida weather that's throwing him off.
He doesn't even know what this feels like. He's still gonna be.
It's December. Why is it 80 degrees still? And then you got Denver at Carolina. I know CMC tweaked a hamstring. I don't think he's gonna see the field this season, to be honest. But I'm gonna go Carolina here.
I'm going Denver.
All right, and then you got Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Derrick Henry's gonna have like 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns and like 145 yards.
Yeah, it's gonna be something stupid.
Let's go Titans here.
Yeah.
Then you got Indianapolis at Las Vegas Raiders.
I have to go with Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders here too.
Yeah, I think the Colts
should be
gonna
back
get
too, right?
exposed right here.
Then you got the Jets at Seattle. Seattle, they're due for a bounce back game. Here's a team to bounce back against.
Look, it's not that they needed a bounce back game. It's
they need that confidence again.
We know what the Jets are doing.
Yeah.
Even though they might be winning, they're going to lose on purpose. They're going to figure out a way to lose.
Russell Wilson's going to approach us like, oh my God, these guys almost beat Derek Carr and the Raiders.
Yeah.
I need this win.
Yeah, but bet the house on Seattle this week.
All right, so then you got New Orleans at Philadelphia. We're gonna see Jalen Hurts for the first time as far as playing a full game. So I'm gonna go with the safer bet and get with the Saints.
I'm going Philadelphia
Okay.
just because there's not enough film on him right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they might get the sneak attack this week. But if he starts next week, we're going to see that he's not going to do so well. So
Okay.
typically, like the new quarterback does well the first week that they start. That's what I'm thinking. And then next week, like he'll have like a shit game. But this week, I think he's going to pull out a win. And Philadelphia Eagles fans are going to fucking rejoice and think that they're going to win a Super Bowl again.
So Philadelphia. So Twitter's gonna be a fucking. It's gonna be a fucked up place because of all the happy Eagles fans.
It's going to be a shit show.
It's gonna be very obnoxious.
Yeah, to say the least.
So then we got the Atlanta Falcons at the LA Chargers. Can Justin Herbert bounce back from the abysmal 0 points? I'm gonna go with the Chargers here.
Yeah, I am too.
Then you got the Washington football team at San Francisco. I'm going to say the football team stays on their hot streak and gets a dub.
I have to. That's my Cinderella story. I've been calling it.
Fair. Then you got Pittsburgh at Buffalo. I think Josh Allen is going to eat Ben Roethlisberger's lunch. Josh Allen's been on fire. He's tired of all the criticism saying everything that happened last year. They're at home.
Yeah.
He's going to accumulate the Bills Mafia energy.
Yeah. I think they should not have dropped this past week's game.
Yeah.
And it's going to bite them in the ass this week. And they're going to go back-to-back losses.
Okay. Then you got Monday Night Football, Baltimore at Cleveland. I'm taking Cleveland here.
Yeah, it's Baker time.
It's Mayfield season.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, so that's the Week 14 pick'ems. As always, we'll move on to our fantasy sure shots and long shots, where we pick each positional for each game. We do one for sure shot and one long shot. So let's start off with the quarterbacks. Jose, give me your quarterbacks.
So my for sure shot will be Derek Carr.
Okay.
And we're gonna see a 3 touchdown game from Mitchell Trubisky.
Okay.
Calling it. Putting it in the air.
Trubisky's a long shot. Derek Carr's a for sure shot.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go my for sure shot. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers at Detroit. My long shot is going to be Sam Darnold at Seattle because it is a favorable matchup as far as how bad the secondary is.
Right.
And if there's a team for him to take advantage of with the abysmal wide receiver core that he has, Jamison Crowder, fantasy holders, I am looking at you. He has maybe the most favorable matchup ever going against the soft ass secondary that is the Seattle Seahawks. So, long shot, Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Up next, running backs.
You go first.
All right, so for sure shot, I am going to take. I got to take this. I'm going to take Derrick Henry at Jacksonville for my for sure shot.
Okay. I was going to go.
Long shot, I'm going to take Zeke at Cincinnati. As far as a long shot for Zeke would be that he has over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Right. Okay.
Who do you got for running backs?
So I'm going to do 2 long shots.
Okay.
So I'm going to go
Game
with
changer. Wild card right now.
I'm going to go Kenyon Drake and Cam Akers.
Wow. Okay. Those are some. Yeah, Cam Akers hasn't been too bad. Kenyon Drake for sure is a long shot. I'll give you that.
Compared to some of the running backs that there are out there, I think Cam Akers is.
That's fair. I mean, he is against New England, who's still kind of a stout run defense.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Let's move on to wide receivers. Long shot for sure shot. You want me to go on this one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for sure shot. You know what? I'm gonna stay with the energy for my for sure shot. I'm gonna go Michael Gallup for the Cowboys.
Oh shit!
He's gonna ride that one touchdown that he had last week, and I'm gonna say minimum 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's my long shot. My for sure shot though is going to be again for sure shot because of how bad the secondary is. Jamison Crowder with the Jets.
Okay.
He's at least getting 7 receptions, 100 yards minimum.
All right. My for sure shot would be Devontae Adams at Detroit. He's gonna have himself a day.
Mr. Consistent.
The long shot would be Scott in Denver.
Okay. Up next, we have the tight end slot. I guess I'll go ahead and start here. Let's go with Baltimore for tight end. That's going to be my for sure shot.
Okay.
And then long shot, I'm going to say Jared Cook at Philadelphia.
Okay. I'm going to go with Evan Ingram as my long shot.
Okay, I like that.
For sure would be Gesicki.
Good, Gesicki's been on fire lately. And then let's wrap it up with our defensive picks. Defenses, I guess I'll start it off. For sure shot. I am going to take... Yeah, there's a lot of... You know what? I'm going to take Cleveland's defense as my for sure shot.
Wow.
At Ravens. Against the Ravens.
Yeah.
And then for my long shot, I am going to take... I'm going to take Carolina's defense. Denver. Against Denver. And who do you got for your defense?
Man, I'm going to take Chicago's defense as my for sure shot because it's time. They can't have 3 weeks of just...
It is time!
It is time. And my long shot would be Miami's defense.
I like that.
Putting it in.
And that wraps up the fantasy picks, the long shots and for sure shots. That also wraps up episode 13 of the Mod Pod, which is now our second episode that we're going to be on the YouTube. You can follow us, of course, up here. Wait, my camera's mirrored. At Mod Pod Texas.
Up there.
We also have a link to our own personal Twitters as well. Follow my boy Jose here at Kickflip Thrifts. He will get you the latest, the greatest, whether it be a PS5, an Xbox, whatever you guys need, this man has it.
Whatever, toys, shoes, sports cards, holla at your boy.
You're also doing a raffle right now, correct?
I am doing a raffle.
I think you need to plug that in.
Just a little PS5 digital, $25 entry, only 40 people. We'll do the raffle live, so make sure that we're on the up and up. And come join. Hey, if you subscribe to this podcast, leave us a review. You might get a free entry. I'm just saying.
Hey,
PS5.
Anything can happen, ladies and gents.
Fuck
PS5, regardless of the free entry or not, $25 gets you an entry into the raffle. Instead of paying $500, you might only have to pay that $25 entry, and you might get lucky enough to win a PS5.
Yeah. Everyone wants one. It could be yours.
And as always, let's go ahead and end this.
Hit that shit, Boldy Hugh. Cheers, guy.
Cheers, homie.
What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know. Maybe a few wedding things, maybe not.
I mean, more than likely a little bit of wedding things.
Probably a few wedding things since it's a week. Yeah. Well, 2 weeks.